Hey, welcome to the stream. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? I look a little short here. Let me adjust this. I've been doing some tweaking on a lot of stuff and I haven't figured it out yet. But hey, happy Saturday. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. If you're new to the stream, welcome. I appreciate you being here. I think everyone else does as well. If you're returning, thanks. Thanks again for being here. So Saturday. It is Saturday. Let's start with the weather, because I usually start with the weather. It was a kind of a crazy week. If you were in the Midwest, kind of a crazy week. A lot of strong storms coming through, especially in the upper northern Midwest where I'm at, Minnesota. We had some crazy storms come through. I mean, it started out cooler this week, and then it got up to 80 and had a storm, and then got up to 90 and had another storm. Crazy winds and lots of rain, but it was actually I welcomed it because one, we needed the rain, and two, it means spring's here. No more snow. I never say never here in Minnesota, that's for sure. But yeah, so it's been pretty nice. It's starting to feel like spring. Things are green around here. Finally, I feel like, man, things are green, and it's been a while. Let me adjust this guy because he's a little bit too long. There we go. But yeah, so again, welcome to the stream. If you're new here, it's pretty open. It's pretty laid back. It's pretty open to whatever you guys want to talk about. We hey Alpha Computer 1776 100 bits, thank you so much, appreciate it. But as I was saying, like, it's pretty open here. We talk about things we're working on. That's kind of what it boils down to. Either things you're working on at home or at work, technology related. We try to stay somewhat on topic, but very little rails here, and very no hole we don't explore. So, okay, this is getting weird. Hey, Kiki Rant, dude, 100 bits. What's up, Kiki Rant? Hey, man, how's it going? Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. But if you're working on something, you're excited about something, you want to share something, hey, Matt G Photo, thanks for the 100 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hype train incoming. Thank you so much. But as I was saying, like, if you're excited about something, if you're struggling with something, if you looking for answers for something, yeah, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. I know that I've been struggling with stuff. I need answers to stuff, even here lately too. If you're curious what I'm talking about, this past yesterday, actually, I released a video on Friday. I know it was supposed to be today, but I got a little bit too excited and I thought, hey, I'm gonna do it on Friday to change things up a little bit. But I've been working through some stuff with my Kubernetes cluster, some stuff that I've kind of had on the backlog for a while, and it's a little bit of continuous delivery with Flux to my Kubernetes cluster. Now, don't get me wrong, I have CD already for almost all of my custom services or repos that I build myself. You know, I write some code, I push it up. It builds a container. It pushes that container then to Kubernetes. Technically not pushes that container to Kubernetes, pushes it to a registry, and then tells Kubernetes to pull that container down. So I've had that path like paved for a while. But what I didn't have paved is, you know, how do I manage containers that I don't build myself, which is probably a majority of what people are doing, is they have a container in Kubernetes, a new version's released. But then how do you update it? I mean, some people might go through the UI, or some people might say latest and redeploy, or you could be like me and just have a bunch of manifests, and when it changes, you just kube control apply and apply it that way. Which has been running great, but I wanted a little bit more automation, and at the same time, I just didn't want to have to do a kube control apply anymore. So my first step is getting Flux to one, deploy those for me, and two, monitor those container registries for changes, and then possibly three, open a pull request on my own repo to actually update that container. Now, I know I can update that container automatically. I don't think that's the way I'm gonna go, because who knows, you know, if a new container's released and, you know, there was a bug, or I'm not here to know that it got upgraded, I'd rather have it a little more controlled than just upgrading my stuff automatically. So I think I'm gonna wire up some stuff to have it open a pull request on my repo, and then I can approve it. So yeah, software development team of one, just me and plus the bot. It's like Discord in my early days. So anyways, yeah, so I'll be adding probably a new team member to my repos, which is going to be opening pull requests for me when there are changes. So it's going to be pretty awesome, a little more controlled. So I kind of get like it's a software dev team of one and me and the bot. Anyways, that's for some of my private stuff. My public stuff is so open, and you guys can make pull requests on there and everything. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. Oh man, but I feel like once you go down this path, it's rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and so much you can customize and so much you can apply or forget about. So it's been a lot of thinking. Sometimes at some point I'm just gonna need to make some decisions, stick with them, and live with them until I find something better or it doesn't work anymore. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. It's a lot going on in my head, as I'm sure it is with you guys. But what are you guys working on? Throw it in chat. I'd love to talk. If there's something, again, you're excited about, frustrated with, want to share, or need some help with, let us know, and we'll try to get to it. So first up, let's real quick. Let's see. There were quite a few things that happened. Events. I'll call them events. But there were follows. There were like this one. Hey. Wally Wonk 4, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Like that one, but there were a lot of events, so I'm going to call these out really quick. Some of these happened just before the stream or shortly before. So hey, Captain Ion, thanks for the follow. The Linux Trucker, Chokito SLA, Ty Mama Pajama, El Bung Slinger. Thank you guys for the follow. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. HomeLab New resub tier 1, 22 months, 18 months straight. HomeLab New 22 months. Easy peasy. Let's go, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And then Geeky Ran, thank you. Matt G Photo and Alpha Computer, thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate it. So let's get into it. First question we usually answer is who was here first? I know who was here first because I saw it. Who was here first? Besides me and testing, which I wasn't even in my channel first, it was Mafni. Mafni, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And Mafni was here testing my bot. Thank you. And my bot is working. So awesome. So let's see. PC Geek, how's it going, man? PC Geek, what's up? How's it going? Shark Bait first? No, I don't think so. And then PC Geek, Crack Kitty also asked, was he first? No. Sorry, man. It was Mafni. Mafni. I think he's holding the crown on number of firsts. It's pretty close with PC Geek, but we'll see. Lickety Splitted. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Engaged. Thank you for the engagement. I appreciate it. Shark Bait. Darn dang. Mafni was first. I totally agree. CG bass player finally off on the day he streams. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you have the day off. And get to tune in the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you. T-Stream, hey guys, hey. And so let's start answering questions. Let's see what's going on here. So CG bass player, I asked, what are you working on this weekend? You say IAC or infrastructure as code and getting a resume together. Ooh, that sounds pretty interesting. If you can get your infrastructure as code together, you can include it in your resume or post it somewhere publicly so that they can see it, and then you can reference it in your resume. I like it. The two go together for sure. And real quick, I didn't mention this at the beginning. I do have the stream is usually roughly an hour. I got to stick to it this time, but I'm just calling it out. So I don't go too far over because I want to be respectful of your guys' time, and I got to wrap some stuff up here at home. So let's see. Seawarg. Learning LVM PV resize to shrink it down. Hey, that's awesome. I rarely do a shrink down. Usually things are growing, so I need to size up. But yeah, it's LVM can be kind of confusing. For me, it's a lot of just Googling and copy pasta. And I'm also like on edge, walking on eggshells when I do it because I don't want to destroy anything. So good luck with that. Shrink down. I like it. You're probably doing some imaging stuff or something, or you went too wide on your volume to begin with. But interesting. So, good luck. HomeLab New. My girlfriend is looking to get in to tech as a career change. It's a great time, great time. Can anyone recommend any sort of software engineering boot camps? It's tough. It's tough. There are a lot of them out there. I'm a huge fan of just kind of self-learning. Boot camps are great. Boot camps are great. They'll get you exactly what you need, and they might even do some recruiting or lining up jobs for you or recommending. Some boot camps have feeders into companies, or feelers or feeders, whatever you want to call them, into different companies where they can also do placement too, which is a nice benefit of some of these code camps. I know that when I was at a larger company, a good majority of people were coming from these code camps. So they're definitely getting people the skills mostly that they need and getting the exposure that they need. I can't recommend any personally. I don't know. But if she wants to do self-learning, there's this great initiative called 100 Days of Code Camp, 100 Days of Code. Just like all the 100 Days stuff, they're pretty awesome. Where they have some lessons and have some, I don't want to say lessons, but a little bit of structure around, hey, things you might want to learn or things you might be interested in, and then doing it publicly and sharing it publicly, which I think is important. And I think it's awesome to do that too. So, but I don't know any offhand. Hey, Ninjatron has resubbed tier 1 5 months. Hey, 5 months. What's up? Ninjatron. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for the continued support. Thank you. But let's see. But yeah, Home Lab New. I think it's awesome. I'll go back to this comment. Thank you so much. Hey, Xavius D cheered 101 bits. Thanks, man. How's it going, Xavius? How's your rack doing? I'm sure it's awesome. You have so much going on. New rack, sharing Wi-Fi with the neighbors, getting all of your virtual machines up. How's it going, man? Good to see you. But anyways, to circle back to this Home Lab New, I think I feel like it's always a good time for a change, but now more than ever too. And your girlfriend's looking for a career in tech. I think there are so many opportunities, and we need women in tech. So I totally agree. It's always a nice move. And I think tech just needs more women in general. So I say go for it for sure. The PC Geek, my TrueNAS server is finally on 10 gigabit Ethernet. All right, man. All right. And I picked up another R620 on eBay for $100, man. You guys be getting deals. It didn't come with RAM, but it's still all a good deal. Yeah, $100. Yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, you can't do much for $100, especially with inflation and stuff right now. It's like, yeah, that's like going out to eat twice right now. Awesome, man. Awesome. Glad you got 10 gigabit Ethernet. I don't even have 10 gigabit yet. Probably. We'll see. But yeah, awesome, man. 620. So this is going to be your TrueNAS server. Awesome. Dedicated TrueNAS, R620, 10 gigabit Ethernet. Let's go. $100 too. Can't beat that. Let's see. Third wave. Love the YouTube videos. So good and concise. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's a delicate balance between going down rabbit holes, blabbering for too long, or being too short and too high level. So it's tough, or just going too fast. All these stuff you just kind of have to learn and figure out. I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback, even if people have negative feedback, like there have been in the past. I love it, and I want to ask questions. I love negative feedback as much as good, because that usually helps me tune my stuff, you know. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. T-Tream. I'm going with T-Tream. Nixios on encrypted ZFS. Oof, I don't know anything about Nixos. I do know about encrypted ZFS in general, just encrypting a ZFS volume, but I don't know anything about this. Sounds awesome. That's all I could say. You know? But good luck with that. Hopefully it's straightforward. Hope you figure out and put your encryption key somewhere safe. That's all I can say. Somewhere safe that you can get to, so that you can decrypt it if you ever need to. Mark XP, have you ever checked out Cloudflare Zero Trust as yet? I'm currently using it without opening any ports on my router. It's awesome. Yeah, I have. Have I checked it out? I absolutely have. I think 2 weeks ago, weekish ago, I started playing around with self-hosting, basically self-hosting in the cloud, a VPS, so that I could create a tunnel to it, so that I could share my game servers publicly. And I looked at Cloudflare Zero Trust, or Cloudflare D is the service or the binary that you use to create these tunnels. And I did, and it is awesome, and it's kind of magical. It's magical. I mean, just like Zero Two is kind of magical. Another one that I looked at. And I do like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it didn't fit my use case. So for HTTP traffic, you know, typical Cloudflare reverse proxy stuff with HTTP traffic, the protocol, layer 7, it works great. It works great because, you know, that's what they do. They do a lot more stuff, but that's the Cloudflare that a lot of people know when they self-host websites or web services, is their web proxy. And then Cloudflare Zero Trust works fantastic with that. Doesn't work so great if you need another layer in the stack, like a layer. I think it's a 3 or 2. I can't remember which layer. But you know, raw TCP and UDP. So if you're hosting a game server, or you're hosting something that's over UDP, or you need raw TCP sockets, or just TCP in general, that's not HTTP traffic, it doesn't work so great. But they have products for that, but that's not included in the free product. Anyways, long story short, I think it is great. I think it is awesome, especially if you're behind CGNAT or carrier grade NAT, and you are double natted, or even just natted from your ISP in general. Fantastic. It basically creates a tunnel to Cloudflare, and you expose it through their proxy. Everyone comes in through DNS to them, and then it tunnels down to you. It's actually you tunnel to them, and that traffic comes through, and you get all the protection of that Cloudflare offers. And at the same time, you don't have to poke holes in your firewall. And then you get all of the rules that they apply. So Cloudflare has firewall rules along with all their general protection that they apply to everything. It's great. It's great. No, I totally agree. Again, I have a very specialized use case, and I have infrastructure in place to do all that for me. But I did explore it, and I do like it, and I think it's a great solution if you're hosting a couple of websites and you don't want to poke holes in your firewall. Yeah, for sure. Because then you don't have to set up the rules to say, hey, if the source traffic is not Cloudflare, then drop it. Basically. They do that for you. So it's pretty awesome. It is awesome. It's an awesome piece of technology. I think they're going to continue to evolve this, especially with CGNAT and just double natting from ISPs just growing. They're going to continue to evolve this, and it's free. Let's see, Abduram. Hello, Techno Tim. Very early today. All right, thank you. How are you doing? How is everyone in chat? Oh yeah, I like the emoji. I'm good. I the usual. Got a lot going on, a little bit more, but yeah, got a lot going on, and I'm doing great. Like I mentioned earlier, good weather. Released my video yesterday, so a lot of the priorities that I usually have on a Saturday morning aren't here. So this morning I was kind of like, what do I do? What do I do right now with these couple of hours? And so I was digging into some other things. But I'm fantastic. I cannot complain. I'm healthy. It's great. It's great. Hey, Decked Dust has subscribed to me. Prime. Thank you so much. Thanks for spending your Prime subbed on me. Decked Dust. I like it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. So let's see. Takano. Takano. I like saying it. I just yell it out. I'm just barking it out. Takano. Made all my sites now sync with it. Hey. Evelise has resubbed tier 1, 3 months. Thank you so much, Evelise. I'm going with Evo Elise. I'm going with that. I apologize if I mispronounce it, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the continued support. Tier 1, 3 months. Let's go. Takano, made all my sites now sync with a dedicated GitHub repo for them. Yeah, right. Along with that, made a pull request towards Little Ink, adding the privacy page to their official site for the repo. Thank you. Just waiting on it to be approved or denied. Yeah, we need to get that maintainer on this. What is he doing? He's probably slacking. Hey, Ninjatron, thank you. Dude, Ninjatron, thank you so much. Gifted a tier 1 sub to AA Me L. Thank you. And so A Me L, enjoy your gifted sub from Ninjatron. Thank you so much. Takano, yeah, if only that maintainer would get on his PRs. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thanks for opening the pull request on my Little Link server. If you're not familiar, it's just it's basically like a big links page. So if you're familiar with Linktree, This is something that I built on top of something else that basically lets you host your own basically Linktree-esque webpage out of your home. It's pretty awesome. I think it's awesome, but I'm partial. Thanks, man. Techno, I'll look at it. I'll look at it for sure. Oh man, I can't tell you. I can't either. I can't talk or type, so let's go. Let's see. Seaworg, we talked about that and learning about LVM and resizing it to shrink it down. Yeah, good luck with that. MT Bet. That's a tough one. I'm going with MT Bet. Mr. Lemurs? Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Putting in a Blu-ray drive to start setting up Handbrake. All right, man. That is awesome. Blast from the past, but I know exactly why you're doing it. Because you probably want to make backup copies of the movies that you have and then be able to stream them from your media server. Love it. Awesome. It's been a while since I've had any kind of disk drive or CD-ROM or DVD-ROM in one of my machines. That was like my go-to. Every time I build a new PC, yep, need a DVD burner and I need a Blu-ray player. But that is awesome. I think I actually still have one, just in case. I should get back into it. But awesome. Sounds like you're ripping your media collection and you're going to store it and stream it. Awesome. Been a while. I'm curious how much Blu-ray drive drives are. I remember they were around when I used to buy them. It was like $70 to $100 or something. They probably still are based on demand. But yeah, awesome. Crack Kitty got pterodactyl server. I'm going to call you out on the typo on pterodactyl because I had to type that thing like a bajillion times. There's an O in there. Sorry, don't mean to correct it, but I like typed that word so many times. I had no idea how to spell it before, and I used to spell it exactly like that until I released that video. And I had to type it so many times, it's just ingrained in my head. Anyways, that aside, got pterodactyl server up and running. Awesome, man. Awesome. Congratulations. That one's a tough one, and it all has to do with like the Wings agent. Now doing Ansible and K3S automation. Look at you, man. Look at you. Head of VLANs. Head of VLANs is expanding his home lab, and you got your game server up and going. And now you got Ansible and K3S to learn and explore. Awesome, man. That sounds awesome. Gonna make a computer guy out of me yet? Yeah, you already are. You already are. You say you're not, but look. I mean, 2 days ago, you thought about building a game server, and look, you got a game server now. A couple days ago, you were like, "There's no way I'll ever try K3S." My words, not yours. And look, you're gonna be spinning up K3S and learning Ansible. Awesome, congratulations, man. Don't mean to correct you on the spelling, but I've typed that a bajillion times. Awesome, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Abdurum. Please, more DevOps. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a good topic. It's very dense. Especially for people who haven't maybe done it before, who maybe haven't been in an environment where they use the DevOps model. But I think it's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic to do at home and figure out yourself, just at least to kind of get your mindset. And a lot of organizations are already doing this. Some are transitioning to it. But I do think it is already the future. But some companies are adopting it faster than others. Yeah, thank you. I enjoy it. I did DevOps way back before it was called DevOps, and it's a lot of fun. I got bit by the DevOps bug probably 10 years ago at a company I worked at, where we built and maintained our own infrastructure to deploy code. And this was, like I said, this was 10 years ago, and we weren't called DevOps. It's just what we did. We maintained a build server that was custom built to build our internal enterprise code to deploy that to web servers, and then shortly after deploy web databases, and then shortly after database changes and all this stuff to enable a large community of developers at the company I worked at. And so I got bit by the bug back then, and so I've always kept my finger on the pulse, and then doing more coding at home and publicly stuff. I wanted very similar features, and I'm glad I held off because now the tooling is fantastic. Can be overwhelming, but it's great. Thank you. Yeah, I'll mix some in. I got to keep mixing stuff in for sure because I want to make sure that there's something on my channel for everyone for sure. Win 32, 0 day. All right, I like it. Well, I'm currently following your tutorial on setting up Grafana Loki for my logging solution. All right, speaking more about DevOps. So another piece of DevOps is monitoring and logging. It's very important when you want to operationalize your services. You need to monitor the health of something, and one way of doing that is by checking the logs. So awesome. I'm a big fan of Loki. I've used lots of different logging systems in the past. Some are just huge and gigantic and do a great job in a large enterprise. But I feel like Grafana Loki is right-sized for me and my home lab, and even just for smaller organizations in general. I think it's right-sized and can scale. But it's great. Yeah, I do wish I had full text searching. I do wish their searching was a little bit better. Similar to other products out there, but Kibana or anything like that, that uses an elastic backend. But that comes with a cost. Not a monetary cost. Well, it can, but a cost as far as compute and storage and RAM and everything else that comes along with Elastic. So I'm a fan. Like I said, I feel like it's right-sized for me. Job stoy. Or stole. I got to get this right. I feel like there's a French accent on there that I can't get right. So I apologize. Hey Tim, awesome video on Flux. Hadn't looked into the CD option, but certainly will now. Hey, how's it going? I think you were exploring Talos Linux a little bit ago. I think last week we kind of chatted about it in both Discord and here. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it. I like Flux a lot. I know there are alternatives out there. I know Argo is another big one. Argo's a lot more visual, and I want to explore that one too. But I enjoy Flux just because it's light. You have to get familiar with the tooling as well as their patterns. But it's so good so far. So far so good. It's in my home production cluster now. So if that says anything about what I think about it, I don't know what will. But yeah, glad you enjoyed it. All right, light changes. Hopefully lights are working out okay. I think they are. Every time I measure them, then they get changed or they break. One or the other. Geeky Rant, I just didn't want to feel left out. Thank you. Thanks for the bits. I appreciate it. Alpha Computer, got my domain controllers up and going on my home network. Awesome. Yeah, congratulations. This is something I've been exploring as well. I believe it or not, I've been exploring Windows Server 2019 stuff on the side, seeing how I can fit some stuff in. But yeah, awesome. Domain controllers up and going. So now you have Active Directory. Maybe you have DNS from Microsoft as well, and maybe DHCP from Microsoft. It's once you get into that ecosystem and have a domain controller up, that's where I think it really starts to shine. It's it's Microsoft's whole approach to everything. It's better together. They're a lot of their marketing is better together. It's one thing to run Active Directory. It's another thing to run DNS from them. It's another thing to run DHCP or anything or WSUS or anything. But when you have them together, they work together and they work better together. So awesome. Let me know how it's going. Let's see. CG Base Player, anyone have any good guides on secret management with Terraform and Ansible vaults? I don't. Funny. I've just been looking into secret management and thinking of changing it up. I obviously use Kubernetes secrets, but then you have ways to manage secrets outside of Kubernetes secrets that can do awesome things like rotation or encrypting or encrypting them so you can store them in public. I don't off the top of my head. I have explored a little bit HashiCorp Vault. Obviously, that's probably a pretty popular one. As you mentioned, Ansible Vault 2. But then, there's one that I've been exploring with OneDrop. Don't know if he's in here, the Kate's at Home guy. But Mozilla, SOPs, S-O-P-S, which is interesting too. So, which I think is an external secret provider, which is great because then you could use it for anything. Anyways, I'm not, I don't have a recommendation, but those are the ones that I've been investigating too. That was part of my what do I do this morning, and I went down a rabbit hole and then started to feel overwhelmed, like I think a lot of people do when you start to get in uncomfortable territory or things you're not familiar with. And then things click and then you feel better and feel confident. Anyways, I'm just tossing those out there. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of recommendations too, or we can discuss it in Discord because I'd love to know what you end up settling on. Job stoy. I'm going stoy. I don't know why I'm throwing a French accent on it. Anyways, finally got Velero. Awesome. Velero also properly working for backing up my Kubernetes cluster and the content of persistent volumes. Awesome. So that is great. That is, so you basically, you have your DR now. So, you know, in Kubernetes, you want to back up a couple of things. The two most important things, you got them. One is Kubernetes itself, so the database that it uses to understand the whole entire state of your Kubernetes cluster. And the other is your persistent volumes, so the volumes that are mounted to those pods if they're stateful. So some pods might write to, you know, a volume. They could have different things in there, whether it be configs or secrets or whatever. That's a place where those pods can access and read and write data from. So two most important things. So if you have those two things, and then you have your, you know, if you went the GitOps model and declaratively defined your whole entire cluster, you got DR. But those are the two most important pieces, I think, is getting both your Kubernetes itself, the etcd database, or however you're storing your Kubernetes state, as well as your persistent volumes. That is awesome. I haven't looked at Velero. I've been using Rancher's backup, which backs it up to an internal S3 endpoint that I have, and it's been working great. I've never tried to recover it, so hope it's good. You know, but I'm scared. I'm scared to do the full like DR restore. So I probably should. I'm just trusting that you know, those backups work. And you know, I'm not being a great home labber. I should be testing my backups too. But restoring a Kubernetes cluster kind of scares me. It scares me because I definitely don't want to do it to my production cluster. So I'd have to spin up yet another cluster just to test it to deploy. Now I'm like, yeah, then why can't I do this? Rabbit holes. Let's see, Brislop. Hello guys. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Object Q. I'm going with Object Q. Hey Tim, could you share information about your recording camera? Is it some webcam or a pro camera like Sony? A really smooth picture. Hey, thanks. It's all in my kit. If you do either !gear or you look down below and it says like, hey, my gear, it's all on kit.co. But you don't have to go there now. Just if you're curious, the exact one and the lenses. But it's a Sony a6400, and then I have a wide-angle lens, and this is the same camera for now that I'm using to both stream from and also record all my videos. This is like my all-in-one. This is basically my webcam and my video camera all in one. But thank you, I appreciate it. It's worked out well for a couple of years, but upgrades are a-coming. Maybe when I hit 100K on YouTube. I'm getting close. Thank you, Geeky Rand. Exactly, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, let's have a longer discussion about this because I think a lot of people will benefit for that. A lot of people will benefit from that for sure. Yeah, and selfishly, so will I. And I don't mean so selfishly, but I've been going through the same thing this morning about just secret management and Kubernetes in general. I know you're attacking, secret management with Ansible, but there can be one and the same if you use an external secret provider. So I'd love to tap into that conversation, or at least lurk. Let's see. Takano, speaking of issues, I was having an issue of setting up Portainer where I could not. I'm sorry. Speaking of issues, I was having an issue with setting up Portainer where I could just not get it to finish spinning up. I would constantly get stuck on starting a node K3D Portainer server LB without any movement at all. Yeah, I've heard about this before. I think it had something to do. I think Pizza Geek mentioned it, and a couple other people mentioned it. Sometimes you need a lot of RAM and disk space for those machines, especially I think RAM because it spins up. It exposes a ton of ports on that machine. So I assume you're doing Portainer with Kubernetes. And I would just make sure that machine is right-sized. At least I can't remember. But search Portainer. Portainer Kubernetes in our Discord, and I think you'll find the solution. But I think it had something to do with, the way that they're exposing the ports on that machine. And it needs to have a decent amount of RAM because I think it spins up like sidecar or containers to do that. So check that out. Geeky Rant, I'm building a wall. All right, man. Deck wall. Oh, is this the wall in your garage? Let me know. Abdurum, are you interested in planning or trying out blockchain development anytime soon since you're a software dev? Hey, Jobstoy. I'm going with Jobstoy until you correct me. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for the sub, tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah, it's good luck on the GitOps. Also, I know you're excited about Talos. I'm excited about it too. I wanna look some more into it for sure. So Talos is a Linux distribution specifically to run Kubernetes, and it's ephemeral. So the operating system, it's ephemeral. It's read only basically. And it can go away, and you basically pass it, I think, some config, and you can spin up Kubernetes. I'm oversimplifying. But as new distributions or releases, that's how you actually upgrade the things within the cluster or the OS itself. So super interesting stuff. This is like, it's basically making similar to making it's basically like making Kubernetes an appliance, because it's a whole entire operating system, which is super interesting for sure. But thanks for the sub, appreciate it. But Abdurum, blockchain development anytime soon since I'm a software dev. Yeah, so publicly, probably not. We'll see. Publicly, probably not. And when I say publicly, I mean on my YouTube channel here. Maybe not. Nothing against it. I just need to make sure that I'm creating content for my audience. Maybe that's interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe it's something I could tap into. Not that it's not a great tech or a great topic. It's super popular, and it's seems to be the way that people are paving for the future. So we'll see. But no immediate plans. Definitely in my backlog. But outside of that, definitely interested for sure. Let's see. Morsky, switching right now from Proxmox to Unraid. All right. Well, hey, that's your prerogative. Well, good luck. Hope it goes well. Let me know how it goes. Wally Wonk, enjoy your YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Cheers. Yeah, no problem at all. Crack Kitty, excited? Yes. Frustrated? Yes. Topic, pretty much everything. I hear you, man. It can be. But dude, you've grown so much. You've learned so much. I can't believe it. I mean, from a guy who's like, I'm a GUI only person. I mean, you're already using terminals and SSHing into stuff, and and spinning up services. So awesome, man. Awesome. So awesome too that you got Pterodactyl going. I think for your son to play Minecraft. Awesome. Matt G Photo. I've got one question. Well, two. One, do you have a network diagram? Yeah, I should. So I'll answer that one first. Let me read the second just in case it bleeds into the other. If so, do you, if so, or if you were going to, would you use any sort of automatic networking mapping to help with it? Yeah, so Matt G Photo, great question. This came up, I think, last week or the week before. So to answer your question, do I have a network diagram? Honestly, no, I don't. I use a UDM Pro, and that's my source of truth. I wish it wasn't the only source of truth. I wish I could generate something nicely from that, other than screenshots, to kind of map out my network as a diagram, especially with some of my firewall rules. But I don't. I would love to use tools to do automatic mapping of my network and have that as an artifact somewhere to refer to. I would love it. And we were talking about this, I think, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, Discord too. So I would love it. I think there's tooling out there that can do it for you. If you know, let me know, because I would love that. Because, diagrams are only as good as the last time you made a change or documented it. And I don't want to be in the business of like, hey, I spun up this new machine. It has an IP address that I reserved in my DHCP. Now I need to go update my diagrams. That's not the business I want to be in. I want something automated that's going to document it for me that I can go to and say, hey, you know that K3S server you just spun up, or that Pterodactyl server you just spun up? Here it is on the diagram. Here it is. And so I would love that. Let me know. I'm all about that for sure. Let's see. Riley Morgan. Hi, Tim. New job gives disposable income. Whoa. All right. Disposable. Love that term. Love that term. So where are you going to dispose it? So I can start a new awesome home lab. All right. Can you talk real quick about SNMP, Simple Network Protocol Management, and how that reporting works? Ooh, it's been a while since I've done SNMP. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are more well-versed, but I think the idea is behind it, you have protocol which can query things, and there's things called traps. I'm talking a lot about stuff I have very little experience with, but I think it's a way to query services or query machines to get information about it, so then you can do stuff, either chart or map or react to it if something goes wrong. That's all I got for now. I haven't done. It's been a while since I've had to do anything with SNMP. And as far as I recall, that's all I've used it for, was just querying devices that support it. It might have even been like printers or print servers. I can't remember, but it's been a while. I would love to, if you have a very specific question about maybe how we can, implement something like that, I'd love to explore it. But yeah, I don't know how the reporting works, because it's, you'd have to have a system that's going to know about these devices or discover them, query them, and then put them somewhere. And then, I don't know how that information would be stored or reported on, other than, just text, unless you had a system that could do it for you. But there are a lot of monitoring systems where that's what they support. SNMP, you configure it, you set, I think, traps, and then your monitoring system can query that. And if something goes wrong or is wrong, or disks are full, or whatever, however you set up monitoring and alerting and charting, it can let you know. So it's very high level. I apologize, but hopefully that helps a little bit. If not, let's talk in Discord how you want to use it. I'm assuming it's for monitoring, because I think that's how a lot of people use it. Let's see, Code Barber. I like it. Just trimming up code. I like it. Speaking of, I need to get trimmed up at some point. Geeky Ram will give me crap again if I shave. This weekend, I need to get an elk cluster. Speaking of elk, we were talking about elk. So it's Elastic, Logstash, Kibana, elk cluster up and running to capture production logs. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier when I was saying, like, hey, Grafana Loki is right size for me and right size for my home lab. But if you want to go full on enterprise, elk is what a lot of people are using too. Elastic, Logstash, Kibana. So you get all the goodness of Elastic, full text search, and everything you can do with Elastic. Logstash for trimming, or not trimming, but formatting those logs, and then Kibana to search and visualize those. So awesome. It's kind of the de facto standard stack for capturing logs, especially if you're self-hosting. It's a lot of infrastructure, but if you got it, go for it, because it is awesome. It is awesome. I mean, it's fantastic for finding needle in the haystack, which, if you're a developer or someone in infrastructure or someone into networking, it's usually what you're doing. Needle in a haystack all day long. And so yeah, that definitely helps with it. So awesome. Good luck on that for sure. Seaward, true. I don't have context, but yeah. Peace. Just passing by to say hi. Hey, how's it going? Piece of Geek, freecodecamp.org is one with plenty of YouTube videos too. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you just posted one earlier about Figma. So Figma is a design tool, but also can be, it's a tool for designers that designers designs. I'm going to say designs a lot. A lot of hand waving here because I'm not a designer, but I've used Figma quite a bit. But designers can design product, digital product, hand it off to developers, and then they can implement it. So it's pretty awesome. I think you linked that today in Discord. But yeah, freecodecamp.org. Yeah, good resource. Thank you. Nuribo. Let's see. I'm going to go Nuribo. I was literally just looking into Flux to deploy an application into multiple private Kubernetes clusters the day before you published the video. It sure did help me out a lot. Thanks for the great content. Thank you so much. It's a pretty dense topic, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. ISO, hey, how's it going? I'm sitting at the hotel bar watching the stream miles away from my home lab this evening. Oh, you miss it. You miss it, don't you? You're like, oh, hope you're okay. No, I'm kidding. Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're traveling. Hopefully it's for pleasure, or even if it's for work. If it's for work, hopefully it's somewhere cool. But thanks for tuning in. Hotel bar? All right. What time is it? All right. I like it. It's 5 p.m. somewhere, right? Or is it noon? I don't know what time you start drinking. Either of those times are fine with me. Mr. Woot, I usually encounter shrinking LVM when colleagues have grown the volumes in the first place by adding more disks instead of resizing the existing VMDK. I dislike spreading out the volume over multiple VDisks. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, so now I see why you're resizing your LVM, because it's spanned out across multiple disks. I like it. Xavier's D, just woke up. I've been procrastinating. I hear you. LOL. Techno Tim, still got to move my rig from the new chassis to finish up pfSense. Just purchased my DeWalt 20V 20 volt kit needed to build my new desk. All right, I love it. I need to build a new desk. What better way to get new tools than to build a new desk and buy new tools? Anyways, I hear you. Awesome. I'm a huge fan of DeWalt too. A lot of my tools are. Huge fan. But yeah, awesome. I went through a span of that, like when we bought this house and we moved in. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a screwdriver, I don't have a leaf blower, I don't have all these things, and so I enjoyed buying all those tools. But hey, you're not procrastinating. I hope you get your. So I remember now. I think what you're at is you're converting an old gaming PC, I think, to a rack-mounted PC. To be your pfSense box in your rack, and I think you bought a rack mount conversion kit for a PC, which I'm a huge fan of. So hope you get it done, man. Hope you get it done. PC Geek, R320 is TrueNAS right now. That 620 I got is my third one now. Awesome, man. I had to grab that price even just to keep it as the spare. I hear you, man. $100, you can't go wrong. Especially if it matches things you have already. Then you have a cold spare. I love it. And I'm sure you could get more than that back too if you sold it somewhere, especially locally. Let's see. Next up, has anyone tried passing disks to Proxmox VM without using a dedicated controller? I'm currently trying to on TrueNAS, but I'm scared I'm gonna lose that data. Haha. It's possible. Your disk IDs will be kind of weird, but it's definitely possible. It's just it's yet another layer of abstraction, especially when you pass those disks to TrueNAS. Now you have this disk that you're passing through that it should work totally fine. I think the benefit of that then too is if you ever went physical, I think you could then use those disks and your pools should still work. I don't know. There might be a conundrum with the disk IDs, but I think it should still work. I know there are lots of people haven't. Yes, Crack Kitty, yeah. Storage channel, there are lots of people who have done this. I've always done the controller way. I considered the individual disk way, but I heard something about disk IDs and I got scared. I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, I'll pass the whole controller through. Why not? But yeah, absolutely. Don't mean to defer and deflect to Discord, but yeah, absolutely. There are lots of people who have done it before, and this topic has come up quite a bit. So yeah, we'd love you there. Love to have a longer conversation too, because I'm sure what I can say in about 30 seconds. It probably won't answer all your questions too, but it's possible. It is absolutely possible, and people have done it. Deck Dust, hey Tim, love the content, thank you. Looking to get a large NAS, 8-bay, all right. Does processor matter a ton? Quad core should be fine. I plan to do mostly iSCSI shares. This comes up a little bit too. Not as important if it's a NAS. If you're using it solely as a NAS, your CPU isn't going to be as important. I mean, it does depend if you're say like using TrueNAS and it's encrypted and or compressed, and then on top of that 10 gigabit Ethernet, maybe not, and it has to do all those operations while you're transferring files. No, I would say at least with the NAS. I mean, if you have quad core, I'd say pretty much good enough. If you're using a NAS and using ZFS, I would say RAM is a little more important. But I think you're going to be fine. I think you're going to be fine. Quad cores should be fine. And like you said, you're doing mostly iSCSI stuff. Should be fine. So block storage should be good. Should be good. I generally lean towards skimping a little bit on the CPU side for NAS builds, only because it's going to be on 24/7. It should be up and on more than anything else in your house. And so, you just want to right size it so you're just not, burning kilowatts and raising your electric bill. But yeah, I totally fine. Should be fine. Mr. Lemurs, hey Tim, how's it going? How's it going? Evo Elise is correct. All right, Evo Elise, how's it going? Thank you again. I'm Ninja. Thank you. That was for the gifted sub. Thank you. Let's see. Francisco Oteza. Hello, chat. Techno Tim, how's your day going? What's your opinion regarding TrueNAS scale? All right. How much time you got? No. I've been excited for TrueNAS scale for a long time, mainly because it's Linux based, and then also because they're doing a lot of different stuff that they're not doing with Core, which is Kubernetes. They changed their app model to Kubernetes technically that can run Docker containers, because I think they're using that for the container runtime, so they get 2 for 1. And so I'm generally excited about it. I think if but there are some that aren't excited about it. And so I think for me, it's a great solution because one, I wanted to be on Linux, nothing against FreeBSD, but it was the only FreeBSD machine I had in my environment. So I had to treat it different, patch it different, think about it different. Some things would work. Tooling was just a little bit different to where, it was just different. Nothing wrong with different, but in my environment, I want consistency. And all of my non-Windows machines, besides my Macs, are Debian based, and that's by choice. And so having TrueNAS now be Debian based makes it awesome for me. Hey Jeffrey, thanks for follow, appreciate it. So that aside, if you don't care about what operating systems it's running on, there's a different app model, but there are lots of apps. So because it's running Kubernetes, not that you may care about that, and running Docker, there's charts available for it for Helm, there's Kubernetes deployments, there's Docker containers. I mean, there's an endless amount of things that you can now run on top of that if that's what you care about. And then you have options for scaling and all the other stuff. But if you're just doing it for home, I think you're going to have I think a lot more supported apps, and it's going to be Linux based. Other than that, it to me, it's feels like more of the same, but a little more easier for me at least to manage. So, and then mine's kind of not kind of, but it is virtualized. So for me, it's kind of nice because then I get a little more options that I have virtualizing it that I didn't have before. But if you're not, that doesn't matter. So. Yeah, so I'm a huge fan. I've been waiting for it for a long time. I'm running it. I upgraded, I think, a month or two after, just to be sure, because it's the only one I run. I'm a fan. But my NAS, I kind of like my NAS, like my network, kind of boring. and that's not to say it's not a great product or anything, but, I don't have to think about it. It runs great. It's stable. It's reliable. Just like I like my networks, boring, stable, reliable, until I go crazy and change my firewall rules and break all kinds of stuff. But for the most part, it's super reliable. So I can't complain. Unpolo-chan, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Techno Tim, it's pronounced Amiel. Got it. Thank you so much. Thanks for telling me how to spell it, pronounce it phonetically. So I appreciate it. Mr. Learners, Jason Lab, YouTube channel. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Learners, all the Untangled videos. Yeah, for sure. Amiel, I got it now. Big fan of your work. It has seriously helped me out. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad. I'm glad it's helped. Ninjatron, I'm thinking about adding my CD drive to a Raspberry Pi and rip CDs on the network. I like it. CD drives making a comeback. All right. What file system or what encoding are you going to use? I think is Flux still what people are doing to get lossless? It's been a while since I've even explored that. So sounds awesome. If you have CDs, yeah, why not rip them and add them to your collection? Techno, was the original Little Link repo not yours? Oh, got you. Then you should pull from his repo once it. I see what you mean. So it wasn't mine. I'm on top of my pull requests. I did look at GitHub this morning. I didn't see any notifications, so not mine. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Evo, Elise, posted here about a month ago about getting rack rails cheap, and I had preferred commodity hardware, but I had bought a cheap rack server and worried about stepping on a slippery slope server hardware. Found a place selling cheap rack rails and went to pick them up, but they also had some cheap rack servers. All right. Long story short, now sliding down that slippery slope and accelerating. I love it. You went to go pick up rack rails and you came home with servers. Oh, that is so great. That is so great. It's like it's the definition of scope creep. Hey, yeah, I'm here to get some rack rails. Oh, by the way, I'm here to take home some servers too. Awesome. Piece of Geek, I use Graylog. Yeah. Another great option. I used Graylog for a while too. It's great. It's great. I ended up, like I mentioned, I don't know where I mentioned it, but I ended up switching a while ago because I wanted something that was one cloud native. So it works with containers. It knows how to work with containers right away, especially monitoring and or at least logging things to standard out and putting them into my database, and so it was nice. But I used Graylog for a long time before that. Like it's fantastic because it's very versatile. It'll work with so many different things. But yeah, for sure. Nuribo, are you planning on doing any content about databases and Kubernetes? I've tried a couple of times, but both failed due to lack of volume performance. I wonder if there's anything that can fix those issues. Yeah, so I've done something before a while ago on just adding a MySQL database to Kubernetes. It's an awesome idea, but for me, I haven't moved back to Kubernetes yet. Yeah, I say yet because there's a couple things you'll probably want to figure out. One, like you mentioned, like storage in general or performance. We talked about this a little bit in Discord just earlier. So if you're doing databases in Kubernetes, you're not going to want to use like an NFS server for the backend for that database. I mean, you just think about just the latency that's involved and all the intricacies that's involved with NFS and everything like that. And then having your database read and write over the network just will not perform. So if you're doing an NFS backend for your database, it's probably not the best choice. The best choice or a better choice is probably to use block storage. So you would mount a block storage share or persistent volume claim to that container, and then it's local, and then it can read and write really, really fast. And then you don't have to worry about weird stuff like database locks and all this weird stuff, or just performance and latency in general, along with permissions that come along with that too, because that's like a whole nother can of worms when you start doing weird permissions over NFS. Anyways, long story short, if you're not using block storage, I would definitely do it. Depending on how you're doing storage in Kubernetes, I use Longhorn, works great. Longhorn will mount block storage to those containers. It can read and write and do and everything as if it's mounted physically on that machine. So no permission issues, no performance issues. And then on top of that, if you are going to do a database in Kubernetes and you like want to do it for real, rather than just having just this floating around MySQL database or Postgres or whatever you're using, I would definitely look at database operators. So operators are like I won't go too tech, but custom resource definition in Kubernetes that makes Kubernetes understand how to work with types of resources that aren't native to Kubernetes. Maybe I explained that okay. But the good thing about using an operator for a database is it gives you not all operators are the same. It just depends on how they're created. but the operator will give you things like HA for databases internally. It'll give you ways to back up that database so that it's easy. It might give you a web GUI for those databases, so you can do web administration for those databases. And so this came up today in Discord today. We were just talking about in the database channel. Might have been, it's probably in the Kubernetes channel. Someone was looking to do, Postgres and Kubernetes, and then it just, again, scope creep, but, helping people think about, a robust solution. We started going down this path of, hey, you should probably use a Kubernetes operator, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because you get all these benefits. And then, so, anyone who's in tech or especially software developer, you usually go down the path of least resistance. And so, if you think about it, how do I solve web administration? How do I solve HA? How do I solve backing up and restoring these databases? Doing that through an operator is super easy because a lot of them come with them. Doing it without is really hard because it's really manual stuff. And so, sometimes going that route is a little bit easier. Anyways, I'm saying all of this without even doing it yet in my own home lab. So take that as a grain of salt. But I would definitely look into that. And then on top of that, if you use an operator, you're not alone. You're not alone. Most operators are open source. They're on GitHub. You can check them out, and you'll have automatically, by using it, have a community of thousands of people who may or may not be using it or contributing it. So, sometimes rolling your own is awesome, but other times when you can lean into, open source, and especially with things in Kubernetes, things that were already built and maintained and contributed to by lots of people, I would absolutely go for it, because then all the real hard stuff is solved, and you can focus on getting, your database up and running and getting your services connected to that. So anyways, that's my 10 cents. It was a little more than 2 cents. But yeah, for sure, I would look down that route. So anyways, you asked about storage and performance. I gave you, the rundown of what's been going on in my head for databases and Kubernetes over the last month. Because in Discord every now and then I'm like, I'm going all in, and I'm like, not yet. soon for sure. Evo Elise or Ilud, yeah, I totally agree. Going to pick up Rails and you end up with servers for sure. Let's see, PC Geek, if your DB is big enough, it should be probably in a standalone server versus container. Yeah, I think yeah, for sure. I think if you're doing a Docker only, it should be fine. I wouldn't do Docker only and then do an NFS mount, because now you're adding, like I said, that latency. But yeah, if it's going to be huge and going to be growing, and you need, you need more flexibility, yeah, VM works great too. Thinking of doing it in Kubernetes, be prepared to have block storage. I would say, have block storage if you're going to do databases in Kubernetes for sure. Most databases have replication and load balancing abilities, maintaining HA that way, for sure. And operators will give you those for free, or you can throw a load balancer and failover of some sort in front of them. Yeah, so this is going down the roll your own path, which I went down once, and I totally destroyed my MySQL databases because I didn't do it right. It's tough to get right. HA databases in general are tough to get right, to set up, your masters and your slaves, to get them all right. Who's the leader? And that's why I would definitely lean into if you're going to do it in Kubernetes, lean into an operator, because they figured all that stuff out for you for sure. Thank you, PC Geek. Canister Copel. Trying to get a K3s cluster on a Raspberry Pi 2 on Alpine, running with an x86 x86 64 Alpine as the head. Interesting. Should work. Should work. I would assume it. Yeah, should work. That's all. That's all I got. It should work for sure. I mean, I think K3s works with both 64-bit and 32-bit architecture of ARM, so it should work. Well, good luck. Let me know. Mr. Wu, Percona has some interesting versions of MySQL and Postgres with Kate's operators. Speaking of operators, yeah, for sure. So Percona has bundled a lot of this up for you. They did a lot of this traditionally outside of containers and VMs, and they had, Percona itself, and now they're doing it in Kubernetes. So absolutely, 100%. Yeah, great recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Wu. Exactly. I mean, sure, the correct way is to use a standalone VM or maybe even bare metal, but I also don't want to allocate too much time into maintaining the database. I want to be able to just throw more resources at the cluster whenever I need to need more database. I hear you. I hear you. It's the poster child for Kubernetes for sure. Is hey, I don't care where it runs. I have all these machines. It's distributed. Put it somewhere where it can fit until things can't fit anymore. And when things can't fit anymore, you just add another node, and Kubernetes will balance it out for you. 100%. That's I agree. But anyways, if that doesn't work for you, because it is kind of complicated, absolutely, you can run in container. You can run it as standalone, and that's what I do too right now. My databases are standalone. They're in Docker containers, but I keep having the itch to move them back. One of mine is anyways, my Mongo one is the one I'm the scaredest to move because I haven't found a great operator for that. They'll sell you one, but not an open source one. Let's see, PC Geek already using SSD or NVMe for storage. If not, maybe try faster storage. Yeah, for sure. All right, you guys are figuring this out. I was using Longhorn for my storage class, though I suspect that's the issue. Is there any other storage classes you suggest? That was my suggestion. That was my suggestion right there, and that's what I run mine on. I haven't noticed any performance issues as long as, it is solid state or local disk, and your disk doesn't have like too much IO. It should be good. Let's see. Peace. Techno Tim. Hi. Few things on K3S. How do you secure K3S? Do you open ports to the master? Should I copy kubeconf from the master nodes too, or is it bad? So, how do I secure K3S? Oh my gosh, how much time you got? Just in general, keep it isolated on both the VLAN. If you want to use firewalls, you absolutely can. You need a couple of ports open on all of those nodes. The masters, you need different ports than the workers or the slaves. Yeah, so there's a ton of stuff you can do. I would say, start by least privilege, not allowing anyone access to those nodes, and then restricting those nodes from communicating with other things on the network besides itself. I would totally isolate those. And it depends on what you're running too. Do I open ports on the master? I think you will need to be able to do kube control commands. I think it's 6443. And possibly 443. It just depends. I don't know about on the master. I know that K3S has good documentation on which roles need which port opens. That's probably a good place to start. And then should I copy kube config from master to all nodes, or is that bad? No, I wouldn't do any copying of anything anywhere for your kube config. The only place I would copy that is back local to your own machine, so you can kube config or exec or initiate commands into those nodes. So no, I wouldn't do that. They theoretically should be the same. Most of them theoretically they should be the same. I think. Unless you don't have a load balancer or something in place, but they should mostly be the same. But I wouldn't copy those around because once you start getting into that, it's how much mucking around are you going to do on these servers? Really, if you're doing stuff on Kubernetes, you should be going through the Kubernetes API, which is going through kube control or some UI or some way to do that, rather than doing things on the local machine itself is how you should do it. Because then going through the Kubernetes API, you're giving it a desired state, and you're letting Kubernetes set that desired state. Obviously, if you make changes in K3S, it does monitor some folders somewhere, which it will, and then make those changes for you. It's doing something similar, but I would go through the Kubernetes API for sure. Look into Percona controllers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Operators is what you want as database operators or operators in general. The way you pronounce my name is close enough. All right, I'm going with Jobstoy. That's what I'm going with. I don't know why. Dunkle Dan, I keep thinking about a K3S cluster just to play around with it, but honestly, I don't know what I would do with it. Yeah, I hear you. Most of the use cases I see are this, especially for home. One, I want to learn Kubernetes. If you don't want to learn Kubernetes, that's off the table. Two is, hey, I run containers already on one machine. I would love to be able to run containers on multiple machines and have Kubernetes figure out, for the most part, how to do some high availability for me. So how to make sure containers are running, spin them up on any machine, maybe have multiple machines that you can dedicate to running your containers. And so then you'd kind of make those machines or those nodes cattle. Node goes away, containers rebalance on different machines, and you're good. Or like what we talked about earlier, you have a Kubernetes cluster, you're running out of space. One way to fix that is by adding another node, because once you add that another node, those containers rebalance, those old containers get cleaned up, and now you've alleviated some of that pressure on that disk pressure, or RAM, or compute. And so that's what I see with a lot of people, at least trying to do Kubernetes at home. Hey, Seawax, thanks for the follow. Valak, thanks for the follow. I'm sorry if I called that one out. Xavius D, dude, thank you, dude. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Dude, thank you so much, man. Gifted a sub. So Bigsby, ISO, Dr. Cuddle, and Lickety Splitted, and Calgar. Enjoy your gifted sub from Xavius D. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. And Pariahism, thanks for the follow. Dude, thank you, Xavius D. Appreciate it. But then, if I think off the top of my head, not just saying I want HA services, maybe you want to scale your services. Maybe you don't care so much that they're high availability. I mean, that's obviously one thing that takes some planning and some effort up front. And you got to make sure containers support that. But all that aside, let's just say you want to scale your services. You want to scale them, and you have too many, or you need some more compute. Traditionally in the VM or even the Docker model, what does that look like? That means build a brand new machine, move those containers over there, and then figure that out. And you spin up 2 Docker machines, and then you manually move those containers over, and you size them yourself until they outgrow or, whatever. And then you got to figure out networking, how to put a reverse proxy outside of there and then route those, those requests accordingly, or with a load balancer or whatever else. And then, you keep doing that. And so with Kubernetes, one use case I see is like, okay, well, if my containers can run anywhere, I don't care where they're at. And I run out of compute, I run out of RAM, I run out of disk space. I don't need to build another node and manually move stuff over or whatever. Add another node, join it to the cluster, and let Kubernetes, figure that out for you. And so, and maybe you're interested in scaling. Maybe it's in high availability. Maybe it's in learning Kubernetes, but maybe not. Like, I still run a Docker only host at home. Totally fine. Am I going to move everything off of that into Kubernetes? Probably not. There's a couple things in there that I probably won't, only because I have separation of concerns on the networks and I think Docker's good enough for some of these. So anyways, long story short, it's totally up to you. Yeah, it's fun to learn. It's fun to play with, but it can be frustrating at the same time. There's no joking about that. And there's, it's complicated too. It's super complicated. Hey, the JF 76 is subscribed, Prime sub. Thank you so much. Thanks for your Prime sub. Thank you so much. Okay, for sure, it's a real pain to keep up once you create it. Yeah, it's so my maintenance. So just talking about that, it's so creating. I think me personally, creating the cluster and having just thinking about like your architecture ahead of time is hey. Dude, OneDrop. Speaking of OneDrop, hey man, how's it going? Dude, gifted 5 tier 1 subs. OneDrop, thank you so much. Tuxic, KRD Shark, Skookali, Seawarg, Core Count. Enjoy your gifted stuff from OneDrop. Thank you so much. If you don't know OneDrop is a good person. They run the Kates at Home repo. If you haven't heard of Kates at Home, it's a great project all about running Kubernetes at home. It's an opinionated way to spin it up and get a lot of services and things already. A lot of the things we talk about here. Flux especially, highly inspired by OneDrop, so I appreciate it. He's mentioned it quite a few times in Discord, and that's what Kate's at Home is using it, and that's where I, have over the last, 6 or 8 months, it's been slowly chipping away at me to where I said, okay, I'm totally gonna look into this, and now I'm totally gonna do it. So appreciate it. Thank you so much. Two Wolf Design, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. But going back into that, just maintenance for Kubernetes for me is actually pretty easy. Very little maintenance for me to keep it maintained. I mean, most of the time, there are all kinds of maintenance tasks that come along with just having machines in general, keeping them patched and all that stuff. But it does add a little bit more maintenance on keeping containers patched, or or knowing that new container versions are available, or patching those, or scanning those. Say you want to do some scanning on those containers to make sure there aren't any vulnerabilities. So there is maintenance, but a very similar maintenance that you would have with a standalone machine or a Docker, especially with Docker. Same amount of maintenance for containers. Very different maintenance for a virtual machine, because virtual machine, you could just run your package manager, just say update all packages, and you're good. Containers a little bit different because you might have to pull latest or pull the latest tag. So knowing about that can be challenging. But speaking of Flux, Flux can do a lot of that for you. Monitor your deployments, monitor external repositories, see when new versions are available, update those new versions automatically, or open pull requests for you using, I think, RenovateBot, which is another awesome tool. Hey, dude, JZ Jad, thanks for the resub. Prime, 5 months. Thank you so much. Dang, JZ Dad, dude, thank you so much. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Toby, GQ, KB Pitt, Ray Main, Johnny Quest, and Abdram. Enjoy your gifted sub from JZ Jad. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, for sure. It's now that I look at this, you might have been talking about something else, and I went on a tangent about maintenance on Kubernetes, and you might have been talking about netboxes. We'll see. I think that's what it is now. But hey, you got a little tidbit about Kubernetes maintenance, which is pretty low, I'd say, in general. Depending on how much you want to change your stuff. But for me, it's kind of regularly, for the most part. Not like large sweeping architectural changes to my cluster, but a lot of container changes. It's a lot to keep up. Another reason why I started bringing Flux into my environment is because I don't want to go check to see if there are new tags anymore on all these containers. Someone tell me about it instead of me going out and bookmarking 15,000 pages for all these containers. So I'm going to be automating a lot more in my cluster here soon too, because I don't want to. I want to merge pull requests. That's what I want to do. I don't want to search or do research. I want to merge pull requests. So I want something to, like RenovateBot, to open a pull request on my repos for my infrastructure and say, hey, we found a new version. And I want to say, accept. That's all I want to do. And then let all of that trickle out and get deployed out into my infrastructure. And, for a lot of that, for my custom stuff, I have that. It's not a pull request. It's me pushing the code. But for my stuff I don't manage, like containers itself, like you name it, traffic, whatever container you're running, I don't want to have to go and know that a new version is available. I don't want to have to do that research, because in the end, it's just me doing it manually. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Evo Elise, thank you so much. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you guys so much. Kene Shappy, Manny 01, Bath, I'm slaughtering these names. Baththermath, Crypod, Casso, enjoy your gifted sub from Evo Elise. Thank you so much. Dude, Ilud, thank you so much. Gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you. Built on Fire, Mangus, TD515, John NS, Lord Garden Gnome. Enjoy your gifted sub from Ilud. Thank you so much. Man, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Epic Farmer, thanks for fall. Man, thank you guys so much for the gifted subs. That was a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow, that was awesome. Okay, I love my link going off. Anyways, let's keep going through these. But thank you. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Something I think yeah. Thanks. GamePen, anyone use Tanzu? I don't, and I don't know what it is. I feel like I should know what it is, but I don't know what it is. So going back to this, Netbox. So we were kind of talking about network diagrams earlier. So someone was like, hey, do you diagram your network? And if you do, what do you use? This was the tool that I was thinking about earlier that we were kind of kicking around. And it was Netbox, but I haven't used it yet. And I've read about it. but it sounds like it's not just a documentation tool. It's more for defining your network as well. I mean, I could be wrong. This is going off memory. So I didn't go too far into it. I feel like I just want something. I feel like UDM should do this. But I want something to diagram my network and just listen for things, listen for ARPs, listen to traffic, and just say, yep, oh, I know what you are. You're here. You're this IP address. Diagram it for me. But I need to look more into Netbox then. Need to look more into it. Hey, dude, Kiki Rand, dude, thank you so much. Man, you guys, thank you so much. Dude, Kiki Rand gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Man, you guys, too much. MTI bet. I am Mangus. Sedated one. Loki 2000 and Housekins. Enjoy your gifted sub from Kiki Rand. Dude, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, the hype train is real and it's super high. And the whole time, I didn't have that scrolled to the bottom. So there we go. Dude, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I've never seen the hype train up to like 273%. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Thank you. Let's keep going then. Jenna Ryan, or Matt G Photo is asking if Netbox is manual. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it was because I thought it was more for defining it rather than documenting it. I mean, it's document and defining it at the same time, and then hopefully you push those. Oh my gosh, dude, thank you so much. Matt G Photo cheered 500 bits. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you. Got to see Purple Mega Man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to share this hype train emoji. Yeah. And this one too. Oh my gosh, how many do I have? You guys are unlocking them all for me. Dude, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys. Huberts, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much for spending a Prime sub on me. Thank you. And Xavier's D, dude, thanks for the 400 bits. 400 bits, dude. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys are blowing me up. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Sahil. Hi, Techno Tim. First time here. I'm planning on my first home server and we'll be using TrueNAS Scale. All right. It's getting a 2 terabyte SSD for host OS installation. A waste, or can I make use of the whole storage once it's up and running? I will, dude. Thank you, Xavier. Dude, thank you so much. 100 bits. Thank you so much, Xavier. Oh my gosh, you guys do too much already. Thank you so much. Is getting a 2 terabyte SSD for host OS installation a waste, or can I make use of the whole storage once it's up and running? I will add more SSDs, but they're for data storage. I mean, and that does sound like a lot. I mean, yeah, I honestly, yeah, I would go small on the OS disk because it doesn't need much. Off the top of my head, I couldn't even say you what mine is set to. I think it's like 32 or like 64. Obviously, mine's virtualized, so I can play with that a little bit. But yeah, you can probably also reclaim that space and use it elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure, only because I haven't done that. But I would definitely keep it dedicated, and I would get a smaller one. I mean, they're so cheap. Hey, dude, Xavier, 399 bits. Thank you so much. Thank you. But Sahil, I would go small and go cheap for the OS disk. Say cheap like is in value. And then save that 2 terabyte SSD for something else, for caching or even for storage, for faster storage. Not that you need super fast storage on there, but maybe for your S-logs or for caching, something, you know, so that, you can apply that performance somewhere else. Because if it's a 2 terabyte just for the OS, for TrueNAS, it's going to be doing a lot of just not a lot. I mean, reading and writing metrics and logs, but it doesn't need to be that performant at all. Let's see, Jenna Ryan, it has a UI for people to interact with, but there's also an API automation going to use. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting from it too, for sure. It's kind of a shame SolarWinds has so many decent networking tools. They spam you once you provide your info just to download it. Yeah, they do for sure, don't they? Let's see, Xavier, you're better off buying a cheaper, smaller boot SSD and using the 2 terabyte you have for storage. Totally agree. Well said. Dunkle Dan, this is why I have to throw away email address, phones, and numbers, etc. Heck yeah, for sure. Like a 10-minute email, just like, yeah. Peace, SNMP is for monitoring, but it generates a lot of network traffic, so you have to use it carefully. Great tip there. Something I didn't know off the top of my head. I knew it was for monitoring and can be used for monitoring, but yeah, the traffic piece I didn't know. So yeah, Yeah, you can imagine if you have lots of devices, they all have SNMPs endpoints running and everything's querying it. Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, good to know. Let's see. I don't actually even use my real name when I sign up for a lot of things of that kind of stuff. I learned my lesson years ago. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, throwaway emails. Some services are even getting smarter about throwaway emails too. They're adding some of those throwaway email domains to a block list. Apple has the proxy too. I'm sure Google does too. Well, I don't know if Google does, but the email proxy is also kind of nice too, because then they never reveal your email to you, to that company. It goes through a proxy, and then you could throw that away if you don't want it anymore. So it's pretty nice, and it's still tied to your real email, but then you could just throw that away. Abdram, okay, I'm gonna sleep because it's late for me, but I am gonna leave a gift for your eyeballs in chat. Dark mode, thank you. Which reminds me that means some of my stuff isn't working properly with my lights. If dark mode's not working, I'll have to troubleshoot that later. It's always my code. Okay, guys, I know I've gone a little bit over, so I'm gonna look for mentions, and I'm gonna look for mentions. Oh my goodness. Because I do want to be respectful of your time. Xavier's T, I bought a R210 for pfSense. The old gaming rig is the new 4U chassis. It's going to be my backup server for network. All right, not pfSense. And it'll serve as my third node in Proxmox cluster, just so there are 3 nodes. Awesome. Okay, so gaming conversion PC is actually going to become your 4U. It's going to become a backup server for your network, and it'll be your third Proxmox node. Okay, got that. And then the R210 is for pfSense. Got that. Awesome, man. Awesome. Sounds awesome. Okay, guys, I'm gonna look for mentions just because I want to be respectful of your time. We've gone a little bit over today, but yeah. Man, guys, okay. There's so many, and then there's a lot of chat. But hey, guys, thank you so much, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for spending some time with me, for sharing everything that you're working on. So awesome. I get so many ideas, and this is not just lip service. I get so many ideas, and I get so excited about all the things I can get lost in. And doing in so many rabbit holes I can go down, that I honestly, truly appreciate it. When you guys share stuff, because I learn so much, or at least I have something to start looking into, and it totally inspires me. So just, if you're ever afraid to throw something in chat, just don't be, and 2, it definitely inspires me to look into other things, and you definitely send me down rabbit holes. So I appreciate it. If you want to continue the conversation, and you're not a part of our Discord, absolutely, I think you should join it. I think we have a great Discord. We're almost at 7,000 members now. We just got partnered recently, so awesome. Thank you guys all to making that happen. Really couldn't have happened without you. Like I said, there was a time and a place where it was just me and a bot in Discord, and now almost 7,000 people, and Discord believes in it too, so they gave us partner status. So really awesome, appreciate it. If you want to continue the conversation, I said will because I will too. Be in voice chat here in a little bit. I just got to grab some water real quick. I'll hang out in there for a little bit and maybe follow up to anything you guys want to talk about there. And if you have more questions outside of there, you can ping me on Discord too. It doesn't have to be right now. You don't have to jump in voice chat, but it'd be cool if you're there. And it'd be cool if you're on Discord in general. Or ping me on Twitter. If you're not a fan of Discord or whatever, chat in general, ping me somewhere if you have a question. I'll try to follow up. Thanks so much for everything. There is so many follows. There's so many gifted subs. I think there are more subs than follows during the stream. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've never seen the stream hype bar go that high. And yeah, so it's incredible. Thank you so much. Never ever required, but always greatly appreciated. So thank you, everyone who did. The bits, follows, gifted subs. Thank you so much. Like I said, you need to get a hold of me. Be in Discord. I will be back next Saturday, absolutely for sure. Might have something out for you this week. I'm going to try to hustle and get it out this week. I'll probably do it on Saturday just to get back on my Saturday routine. Today's video was yesterday. But I think I'll get back on my Saturday one after this. So thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, and I'll see you in Discord, and take care. Be good to each other.